Hello everybody, and welcome back to Let's Play The Longest Journey. Last time, we came to the library and read some books, the most exciting episode of the series so far, in my own opinion, if I do say so myself. And we're gonna have some more exciting reading, not as much as last time, unfortunately. Skip, skip,
Could I see?
skip. And let's see, so yeah, one more for now.
I'd like to read some Arcadian folktales.
A favored topic of mine. I have just what you're looking for.
Alright. Skip. See how long this takes every time? You're lucky I'm skipping. Alright. One more book for now. Sadra the Faithful Wife. Sadra was married to a brute of a man named Care. He was a bully who drank, cursed, gambled, and beat up his wife when he'd lost coins at the cups table. Still, Sadra treated Care with respect and care. She fed him when he was hungry, she made his bed and washed his back, and she laid down with him when he told her to. She never complained of her hardships to anyone, even though some days she woke up with bruises all over her body. Despite her husband's treatment, Sadra was a beautiful woman with lovely dark hair and green eyes. Men would admire her when she went to the market for food or to the town. Well, for water. But none dared approach her, fearing her dangerous husband more than they admired her beauty and grace. People would say, "Poor Sadra, she deserves better than what she has. She is so good and patient that even though her husband mistreats her every day..." But no one was willing to do anything to free her from her husband, as they all feared his wrath. She chooses her own path, they will say, and it is not our duty to interfere. Then one day, a tall and handsome prince rode into town to visit with the elder council. When he spotted Sadra carrying 2 heavy buckets from the well to her home on the edge of town, he was taken with her beauty and youth, and he jumped down from his horse to help carry her buckets home. On the way he ordered Sadra courtship, but when told she was already married, he bowed respectfully and excused himself for acting inappropriately. That night, Sadra's husband heard about the prince helping his wife, and after striking her down for letting royalty interfere with her duties, he strode drunkenly, for he had already had his usual fill of dark ale, towards the tavern where the prince and his cohorts were staying. When Care arrived at the tavern, the prince was eating dinner, and when told Sadra's husband was there to see him, the prince stood and waved the man closer. "I must congratulate you on your good taste in marriage," said the prince. "For your wife is the most beautiful and good-hearted woman I have ever met." And then he offered Care a seat and a tall mug of ale. But the angry husband did not appreciate the prince's advances, and he drew a sword and lunged at the prince before his guards could react. The prince was quick and lucky to avoid certain death, and before Care could make a second strike, the prince had recovered his sword from where it stood by the wall, and stood ready to fight the brute. "Leave him be," called the prince when his guards drew arms and ran to protect their liege. "This is between him and me." Smiling briefly, he nodded his head to Care and stood to attention. Obviously, his skill with the sword was formidable. Care, a coward at heart, knew that if he fought fairly he would surely die, and he sheathed the sword, but loosened the knife he had tucked up his long sleeve. "My pardon, Prince," said Care. "My love for my wife is such that I am blinded by jealousy. I offer you friendship and apologies." He extended an open hand to the prince and smiled a broad lizard smile. The prince, unaware of Care's mistreatment of his faithful wife, smiled back, put down his sword, and extended his own hand. "Your apology is accepted, sir." Then suddenly Care's knife was in his hand and moving in a blur towards the prince's exposed throat. Had it not been for the quick eye of a nearby guard who with the broadside of his sword struck Care in the side of his head, the prince would have been dead. The knife carved a deep scar in the prince's shoulder, but did no serious harm. Care was taken away to the town prison to be judged when the sun rose. His crime was surely punishable by death, especially if Sadra would testify to his cruelty in front of the judge. Free of Care's tyranny, the townspeople now spoke of Sadra's suffering by her husband's hand. But Sadra would not herself, even now, speak against her husband. and instead of being sentenced to death, Carrie was sent away to work in the king's mines for 25 years. Taken with her faithfulness, the prince yet again offered Sadra courtship, but again Sadra declined, for she was still a married woman. Then, 1 year later, Carrie attempted to escape the king's mines by killing the 2 guards and climbing the walls, but he was shot down with an arrow and died in agony and disgrace. Again, the prince visited Sadra's town, bringing condolences and a renewed offer of courtship, and this time Sadra agreed. Months later, the prince and Sadra were married in a glorious ceremony, and when the old king died, the prince became the regent and Sadra his queen. She was as good a queen as the land had ever seen, and she was loved dearly until she died. And her funeral was the grandest and most tearful in memory. The Children of the Lake. There was a village by a lake where no couple had borne a child for 20 years. The villagers were desperate, for without children their village would wither and die. They turned to the god for help. The next morning 50 young children rose out of the misty lake and wandered onto the shores, much to the joy of the childless women. "We are yours," said one of the children, "as long as you remember one thing. You are never to fish from this lake again. Instead, you must learn to hunt in the forest and live off the land." The villagers agreed that they had worried that they might go hungry, since they were used to catching and eating fish from the lake. But it didn't take long before they taught themselves to hunt and grow wheat, potatoes in the fields. 18 years passed, and one day an old man grew tired of rabbits and deer and potatoes and bread, and he longed to catch a big fish and cook it over a sizzling fire. He took his boat out to where the villagers would not see him, and he sank his line. Most immediately he caught a large trout, but as he was rowing back to the shore, he saw the children of the lake wander from their homes back to the dark waters from whence they came. Their mothers called for them and tried to hold on to them, begged them not to leave, but they would not speak, and one by one they disappeared into the lake. The old fisherman then saw, as the children sank into the murky waters, how they turned into large fish and sped off into the deep. He was shameful then and dropped his catch back into the water, but it was too late, and the village would forever more remain childless.
Are you done? Let me take that back for you.
That was a bit longer than I expected, but there was some interesting tales there. I wonder if those will have any relevance to us. Skip, skip, skip. And we are done here for now. So let's do something else, much less interesting than that. No, I really do think that is interesting, but I guess for a Let's Play, it's a bit, I don't know, it might have been a bit boring for you guys. I'm sorry for that, but trust me, it's all very, very relevant. It adds to the lore of the game as a whole, and it is good stuff. Alright, the City Green. Let's go visit Abnaxus.
It looks to have been carved out of a large tree, but the texture of the house is more stone than bark.
That's pretty cool.
That's one mother of a plant. I wonder if it's a carnivore.
Let's not test that theory. So let's see, anything else I can look at? No? Let's
It's a solid oak door.
Thank you, April. Let's go knock on that. Skip.
Enter, honored guest, and I would have been with you presently.
Him and his tenses.
Some of them look to be in English, but I know they're not. It's the Altung language Tobias told me about. The tongue of magic. Sounds a little disgusting, to be honest.
I think it's interesting. Let's see.
It's a nicely crafted bench.
Oh, there he is. What's up, bro? Love Abnaxus. He's awesome.
Be welcomed, stranger, to my abode.
Stranger? Don't you remember me? You invited me here.
Every moment we meet, and every moment we part. You are both stranger and friend, April Ryan.
I'm sorry, but could you try to be a little less obtuse this time? I have a hard time understanding half of what you say.
Be
I
sensitive,
will beg
April.
for your forgiveness, April Ryan. I had a hard time to make myself understood amongst other peoples. I will pull myself into this moment, difficult as it may be, so that we can communicate and so that you may understand. It is important that you understand, April Ryan, very important.
Who are you?
I am Abnaxus of the Venar, ambassador to the I-Reed Council in Marcuria. My people live far from here, and they do rarely visit your kind, and so I am their sole link to humans and Dolmari.
Why is that?
I alone among the Venar am able to focus on a particular moment and thread in time, and so to speak with those who flow with time, like you.
Interesting.
How do your people perceive time?
It is hard to explain. Any moment before this moment and any moment after is the same to me as this one. I have lived already, and I am yet to live. Do you understand me?
I think so, but how's that possible?
Everything is possible, April Ryan. There is magic, and there is science, and between the two, everything is possible.
Can you see the future?
To me, every moment is the same. There is no future. I can relate moments you have yet to see, and I can unravel possible threads. But remember, the future I see may not be the one into which you walk. Moments and threads fluctuate, change. I can remember things that have never come to pass, and I have seen things that will never be.
So you can't tell the future.
I would see your possible futures, the likely threads among hundreds. If there was not a veil in time, I would.
Veil.
What's this veil you keep talking about?
Somewhere ahead, in our path, there is a dark veil through which I cannot pass, past which I cannot see. It is disconcerting to me to be blocked from the moments of my life.
How did this veil come to be?
It was, no, will be created in chaos, by chaos, to keep the future hidden. All threads converge on a single point here, beyond the veil, and this will happen only once. It is written.
Written? Where?
In the prophecies.
Something else for us to read
Tell
later?
me about the prophecies.
Words have been written by seers who can discern from all possible threads the threads that are certain to be woven. These words are the prophecies.
And what do the prophecies say?
Prophecies speak of a time when the balance will falter, weakened by the assault of chaos and its servants. The moment the veil falls is the moment of uncertainty. The balance may stand, the balance may fall. I cannot tell which it will be, and I cannot even see the possibilities, the threads extending from each fork. But the prophecies also speak of a savior, as the prophecies usually do, one who will bring order to chaos, only to release chaos on the innocent, one who will restore the balance, only to finally break it.
That doesn't sound like a savior.
The word in my tongue is Kanang La. Literally translated, it means the small seed who grew to a tall tree.
Interesting. Let's ask him some more stuff.
Can I ask you a few questions?
Yes.
Yes, question mark.
Could you tell me a little bit about yourself, Abnaxus?
Me? About myself? We, the Venar, are not good at speaking of ourselves. We always know who we are, and so we have no need to tell each other.
Well, are you married? Do you have kids? Or perhaps your people don't marry?
Yes, we do marry, and we always know who we are to be with, because our future is also our past, and so we also know our children even though, according to your reckoning, they have yet to be born. My wife will be, the beautiful Abyanda. She lives by the Bay of Fire in the east. She gave birth to our 3 female children, Abratha, Abalexa, Abpalmana.
How long has it been since you last saw them?
I see them now, April Ryan. Do not forget I perceive time in a different manner from your kind. I have given them your regards.
Well, say hi to them for me.
That's pretty cool. That is very, very hard to imagine, you know, to kind of put yourself in the shoes of somebody who perceives all time as just one thing, not in a series of events. Just very interesting.
Why did you come here to Marcuria?
I was chosen to be ambassador to Ireed when I showed a talent for seeing the flow of time from one point to the next. I was trained for a long time in locking myself into a single moment to communicate and understand your world. My people do not normally involve themselves with others, but the Veil has forced us to do so.
Why don't the Venar want to involve themselves with humans?
In the wrong hands, our knowledge is dangerous. To know of the possible fluctuating futures, this can be a weapon to some who flow with time. We cannot interfere with your time. We are not allowed.
Who says?
The balance. The Guardian. The Guardian watches not only the balance between worlds, but also the balance within. Time is in balance, and if this balance is upset, the Guardian would know.
I thought the Guardian was gone.
So he is, and that makes it even more crucial to my people that we preserve the balance and not upset it. Chaos is our enemy, April Ryan, and we do our part to keep it at bay, as do you.
That's a dumb question. You should know to phrase that better, April.
Are you planning on ever going back to your people?
When we pass through the veil to the other side and time yet again opens up, I will return to my people. I look forward to that day. I miss my people, and it is hard to speak with your kind. It makes me tired.
I know what you mean. I'm a stranger here too.
You will bring us through the veil, April Ryan, and then we can both leave this place and go home.
Where is your home, Abnaxus?
Across the border mountains and north, to where the forests are evergreen, and where in winter the land turns white.
Do you know Father Tobias?
Tobias is a faithful servant of the balance, and he is a good man. He leads the sentinel down a narrow path, but he never wavers. We are friends.
So, I can trust him?
Trust is a concept which often puzzles me. Amongst my people there is never distrust. We always know the truth. But amongst your people, amongst those who flow with time, trust is important, a fragile thing. But yes, I do think Tobias is to be trusted fully. I cannot see beyond the veil, but up to that point there is no thread in which he betrays your trust, April Ryan.
That's good. These answers are so complicated, but at the same time they make sense.
Have you heard of a man named Cortez?
No, I have not. But that does not mean I do not know him. Names are often fleeting, April Ryan.
He's my... well, some have called him my mentor, others a nutcase. I'm not sure which it is, but I'm leaning towards the former.
Your mentor? He is a shifter as well?
No, I don't think so. He doesn't travel. Shift between Stark and Arcadia.
I do not see him in my life, April Ryan. I do not know him. Beyond the veil, perhaps, but not before.
Thanks, Abnaxus.
You are always welcome, April Ryan.
Alright, so we've already asked him these questions.
I need some help in my quest.
Yes, you did.
I did? And what did you answer?
That I will help you as much as I can, but in the end...
I'm on my own. I've heard that one before.
Well, more stuff to ask him.
What do you know about dragons?
I do not know much about the kin, but I do know a little. Perhaps it will help you, perhaps not. The Draic kin came to this world a very, very long time ago. Before the dawn of man, before the divide. The Venar had yet to learn to be outside time, and there were few other peoples on Earth. The kin played an important part in the divide, in separating magic from science, and in the founding of the Fathers, the Sentinel, to watch over the balance. It is said that after the divide of the 4 Draic kin that came to Earth, 2 went to Stark, and 2 to Arcadia. But that was a long time ago, 12,000 of your years. I do not know what has become of them since.
Well, that's what we need to know.
You don't know where I may find these Draikkin?
No, the white of the Draikin, the mother, has, according to legend, been sighted. The tale of the silver spear of Gorimon speaks of the mother and her child.
Oh, yeah.
Though I think this is but a tale, and far from the truth.
The story is called The Silver Spear of Gorimon?
Yes, unfortunately I do not have this book myself, and I do not know of anyone who does.
Well, luckily we've read that one, so yeah, you see, these do have relevance.
What about the other dragon, the other Draikkin?
Of the Draic kin, I only know of the mother, the white of the kin, although I have heard tell of a god who fell from the sky into the ocean a great long time ago. But this may also be just a tale.
And that's important. That's a very important line that he said. Even, yeah, you see the diary? Yeah. So we need to know about the god who fell from the sky.
What else do you know about this god who fell from the sky?
Only what I have told you. Someone with greater knowledge of the ocean and the creatures that live beneath its surface may be able to tell you more.
Greater knowledge of the ocean, huh? There are some sailors we might be able to talk to.
Have you heard of a disc that works as a key to the Guardian's realm?
Yes, but very little. It has been spoken of in the Ireed Council only recently, brought to attention by the Tyrant Ambassador. He wished to know where it is kept.
And what was the answer?
No one at the Council knows or admitted to knowing, and the Ambassador was asked to speak with the Sentinel, which he is unlikely to concede to. The Tyrant are allied with the Vanguard, and so are in political and ideological opposition with the Sentinel. I know Vestrum Tobias. He would not speak a word with the Tyren, nor the Vanguard. Not unless it was to challenge their philosophies.
So you don't know where I can find the disc?
No. Ask Vestrum Tobias.
I think we already have. Alright.
Do you know anything about a rift leading to the Guardian's realm?
I have heard speak of such a thing. I believe it was where the tower was built and the divide created. When the earth was one, it might still be open.
Any idea where it is?
I am afraid the Venar were never very involved in the affairs of the Sentinel, nor took any part in the divide except to agree to the necessity of it. We had little choice but to concede. We are a magical people. We need the balance, because we could not survive without magic.
How would I go about fighting chaos?
You cannot fight chaos. It is not so simple. To oppose chaos, one must return order to that which has been affected by chaos, and thus reduce its powers. But this is not something everyone can do. Only those ordained by the balance can embark on such a dangerous task and survive.
Like us. So that's all we can talk about with that.
That's about it for now.
I am glad I could be of assistance, April Ryan.
Thanks for your hospitality, Abnaxus.
Goodbye. Blessings of the balance to you, April Ryan, and may your journey have been a long and fruitful one.
You're such an awesome guy, Abnaxus. Anything else to look at before we leave?
It's Abnaxus.
It sure is. Well, I guess that'll be it for now. Yeah. So yeah, that's it. That'll end off the episode for now. This has gone pretty long, but lots of stuff, lots of exposition, lots of stories. But can we get more information about the Draken, about where they are, so we can get those pieces of the disc? Well, let's do some further investigating next time on Let's Play The Longest Journey. Thank you for watching, and have a good day. Oh look, Abnaxus has a little tail.